welcome back to English class. In our previous class, we discussed textbook activities from Unit 5, Reading A, Plant a Tree. Today we are going to discuss the grammar part of Unit A, Unit 5, Reading A. The grammar topic is if clauses. Okay, it's if you know already that it's a conjunction. Now it's a if clause we are going to learn. Okay, what is this? If you know, because no need to discuss about if, but I have to discuss with you clause. Okay, let's just recollect. I think you would have learned already clause and kinds of clauses in your 5th standard. Yet I'm going to discuss once again to recollect you what you learned in your previous year. Okay, previous class. Okay, fine then. Let's recollect what are clauses and kinds of clauses a little bit before we start if clauses. If you know, it's a conjunctions. Conjunction means it's a parts of speech. There are 8 parts of speech. One among them is if. Conjunction. Sorry. One among them is conjunction. Okay. Conjunction. Why do we use conjunction in English? We use to join the sentences. We use conjunction to join the sentences, to join the words, to join the phrases and clauses even. Okay, now let's see what is a clause and the kinds of clauses. 2 clauses like dependent clause and independent clause. Now let's go with the clause meaning. Later I am going to discuss with you that if clauses, and I want to tell you that if clauses is also called as conditional clause. Why do we call them as conditional clause? Then later you understand. As I go on discuss with you, you understand why do we call if clauses as conditional clauses. Okay, let's go with the clause meaning. Clause is a part of a sentence in which you find, it's a part of a sentence in which you find both subject and the verb. Okay, in clause is a part of a sentence and group of words. You can say it's a group of words. A clause is a group of words in which you find subject and verb. Okay, now let me tell you one example. Okay, now let's go with the I catch the train. I catch the train because I catch the train because I ran very fast, or I caught that. You can say I caught even. I caught, C-A-U-G-H-T. I caught the train because I ran very fast. I ran very fast. Or you can say I ran very fast. So I ran very fast. So I caught the train. Here I am using this conjunction join to join these 2 clauses. See here, I caught the train. Okay, this is giving you complete meaning because you know that a sentence is a group of words which gives you subject verb. Okay, and gives you complete meaning. A sentence is a group of words in which you find subject, verb, sometimes object, sometimes you may not find object, but sentence gives you complete meaning. Here the sentence started here and it ended here. It started from here, I caught, and ended very fast. In this sentence you got the 2 parts, right? I caught the train, then because I ran very fast. Yes or no? Now this is giving you complete meaning just like a sentence. Okay, but it's not complete sentence. It started here because you know that we start a sentence with the capital letter and we end with the full stop. Could you see this fast? Because I ran very fast. Yeah, I have, anyhow I have adjusted up to there. You could see, I think. Yeah, fine children. You could see this also up to here, just edge. Okay, so it's the a sentence starts with a capital letter and ends with full stop. Now this is also, now see, a subject is there, verb is there, object is there, and what did I caught? Sorry, what did I catch? The train. Okay, now it's giving full meaning but not ended. The sentence. Still we have one more part in the sentence. That's here another part. Here also we got subject. I ran as a verb and it ended here. Full stop. Now see here, here we are getting, now what I said, a clause is a group of words. A clause is a group of words in which you find a subject and a verb. Now here you, in the same sentence, again we are going to get one more clause. See here, subject and a verb. Okay, it's a complete sentence here, one here to here. In this we got two parts of the sentence. One part, it's a clause. The other part is also a clause. So there are two clauses in the same sentence. Every time we don't, in all the sentences, you don't get the clauses. For example, I'm eating a banana. I'm eating a banana. It's giving you complete picture and giving you meaning, and it has like a sentence. How should we start? Capital. How should we end? Full stop. And it's giving you complete meaning. A sentence should have subject. We got here subject, and it should have verb. We got here object, option. You may or you may not find in all the sentences subject, object. You may or you may not. See here, a banana, object. What I'm eating? A banana. Is there any clause? No. Here it's a complete sentence already. But in some sentences, we are using clauses. Clause is a part of a sentence. And it's a group of words in which you find subject and verb. Sentence is different. Clause is a part of a sentence. I hope you got it now. See, the same sentence we took the part of a sentence. In the same sentence we took the part, another part of a sentence. In which this part of a sentence there are group of words and you find a subject and a verb. A subject and a verb. Got it now? I hope you understood what is a clause. A clause is a group of words in which you find a subject and a verb. And it's a part of a sentence. Okay, now you understood clause because we have to discuss many things, because if clauses you have to understand, right? Okay, then kinds of clauses you should understand. Now here we found how many clauses in this sentence? Two clauses. Now see here, one, if you remove this, okay, now if you stop here, this clause, now this, think about this clause, now take out this, so just forget for some time. I caught the train. Catch, caught, past tense of catch, okay, I caught the train. Here, this is giving you complete meaning. This clause is not depending on anything. It's giving you, it can stand on its own because it's giving you meaning. This part of a sentence and this clause is giving you complete meaning. I mean, it can stand itself alone. But here you see, once you forget this part, because I ran very fast. What? Why? What because? Why did you run so fast? What happened then? Then this is not giving you any complete meaning. Yes or no? It cannot stand alone. Simply if you say, first line of a lesson, because I ran very fast. Do you understand? What is that? Who ran very fast? Why did he run very fast? What happened next? You don't understand anything. So this clause is totally dependent on this. Without this clause, you forget about the sentence now. Keep aside. Sentence, you know, right from the second standard, you have been learning a sentence is a group of words which gives you complete sense or meaning. That you know. Here it is, from here to here, that sentence. In the sentence, a part of a sentence we are discussing. That is a clause. Okay. Now you see this clause and this clause we are talking. There are two clauses in this same sentence. One is giving you full meaning and it can stand alone. The other one, this part, I mean this clause cannot stand. This is totally dependent on this. Okay. It cannot stand alone. It cannot give you any meaning unless until you join this clause to this clause. Are you catching my point? Yes, I think. Okay. So, this kind of dependent, the clauses which are totally dependent on the other clause are called dependent clauses. These kinds of clauses are called dependent clauses. Okay, now let's come to here independent. This which can stand alone and gives you meaning, complete meaning, are called independent. Independent clause and dependent clause. You got the meaning? One more is main subordinate. This is called subordinate clause because this is dependent on main clause. Another word, I mean, you can call independent clause with another word, that is main clause, and this one dependent you can call as subordinate clause. Okay, I hope you are understanding the meaning of dependent and independent. I hope you're catching now. You get ready with your own sentences. I mean with your own sentences in which you should find dependent and independent. At least one, all of you. If you are ready with that one, then I am going to just make one more sentence in your mind so that you can understand and we can go further. Okay? Yeah, now you could see. Okay. Now you could see. Okay, sorry. Yeah. I caught the train like this. Like you can say. Okay, sorry. Sorry. I have written dependent. Yeah. D-E-P-E-N-D-E-N-D, dependent, and D-E-N-D-E-P-E-N-D-E-N-D, independent. Okay. I caught the train, independent, and because I ran very fast, dependent. Dependent clauses are also called as subordinate clause, and independent clauses are also called as main clause. They are main clause because they can stand alone. They are subordinate because they are subordinate to this. They cannot stand alone. Okay. Now you can frame one more sentence like your own if you want. Then let me. Yeah. Okay, let's go. Let's go with the. I stay here until you come back. Okay? Something I have written on my own. You frame your own sentence. I stay here until you come back. Okay, now let me erase this. This one you should not see. Okay? I stay here until you come back. Okay, then see which part, how many clauses are there in this sentence. Again, now you got it very easy. I stay here, one clause, until you come back is another clause. Which one is giving you complete, which clause can stand alone itself, independent. So, I stay here. I stay here. This clause is giving you complete sense and it can stand alone. So it is called main clause or independent. Okay, independent. Okay, independent clause, and this part is totally dependent. Suppose if you remove this one, until you come back. Until you come back. What? Until you come back, what are you going to do? It's not giving you any complete meaning. It is totally dependent on this. So this is dependent clause. Dependent. So this is dependent clause. This is not A, no, this is E. Dependent clause. Okay, fast if I write, then here also. Sometimes you look like A, it's E. Dependent. Okay, I-N-D-E-P-E-N-T-E-N-T, independent and dependent. Okay, so these kinds of clauses you have to remember. One is always you find some sentences dependent clause and independent clause. Okay, the clause which can stand alone is independent, and clause which is dependent on other clause is called dependent clause. Got it? Now we are going to understand the if clauses. Okay, if clauses, suppose I'll write one example. If you bring plant, if you bring a plant, I will, I continue this sentence here, I will, or I write here, I will, if you bring a plant, I will bring a pot. I will bring a pot. Now see in this one, if is the conjunction which joins two sentences, I mean two sentences, two clauses, two phrases, two words even. Conjunction, but not if won't join two words. Conjunction joins, okay? Now see here, what is this if clauses? If clause says that if one condition, if a condition is met, then the other thing is going to happen. If you do this, then that thing is going to happen. If you come here, then I give you the book. In such way that we are using the if clauses. If clauses means like conditions. If certain condition is met, then certain thing is going to happen. In such situations, we are using clauses, if clauses. There are four. Are you following me? We use if clauses to express that if the condition, if certain condition is going to meet or if certain condition is met, then then only the other thing is going to happen. If you come here, I am going to give you the book. Otherwise, I am not going to give you the book. Like that. The condition should be first. If you bring a plant, then I will bring a plant. Then I will. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Then I will bring a pot. If you bring a plant, I will bring a pot. Okay. If you don't bring, then I will not bring. What is the use of bringing pot if there is no plant? So if you bring plant, I will buy a pot, or I will bring a pot. That condition one should be fulfilled, then this thing is going to happen. If this condition is fulfilled, then this thing is going to happen. That's why we call if clauses as conditional clauses. Condition should be it should be like happen. It should happen, then only this is going to happen. Okay, it should meet, the condition should meet. First the condition should meet, then only this thing is going to happen. The second thing is going to happen. Now let us know there are, now I am not going to discuss the meaning or definition or anything. You should know this by giving more and more examples. Okay. Now there are four kinds of if clauses. Zero if clause, zero if clause, or you can write zero. Zero if clause, and first conditional if clause, or first conditional clause, or first if clause, or first conditional clause. Okay, then second conditional clause, and then third conditional clause. There are 4 types of conditional clauses or if clauses. Let me write this also clause, otherwise it will be like in order we'll write conditional. Okay, fine. Yeah, first one zero conditional clause, first conditional clause, second conditional clause, and then third conditional clause. Are you following now? Now there are 4 kinds of conditional clause, and let us go with the first one, that is zero conditional clause. Are you following me now? Yeah, I hope. Like first one, zero conditional clause or if clause. Zero if clause, if clause type 1, if clause type 2, if clause type 3, or you could also call zero conditional clause, first conditional clause, second conditional clause, and third conditional clause. Okay, now let's go with the first one. Zero conditional clause I am going to discuss with you. Okay, zero conditional clause. Okay, now when do we use zero conditional clause? Zero conditional clause are used to talk about the facts that are generally true, and zero conditional clause we use to express the facts that are generally true, that do not change. Let's go with the example. If only the conditional only. So I give you an example. Now it's raining outside when I'm taking this video. It's raining. If you stand in the rain, you get wet. Of course, this is correct, right? If you stand under the rain, like in the rain, if you go and stand in the rain, definitely anyone. It is true everywhere throughout the universe. In America, if it is raining and if you go out and if you stand, okay, you get wet, right? And if you stand here in India, here in Khammam, somewhere, wherever, in the village, in the city, in the town, in the country, in the other continent, some facts, zero conditional clause, we use zero conditional clause to express the facts that cannot be changed to true facts. Okay, for example, now if is there compulsory? If you stand, okay, if you stand in the rain, comma, you get, this is not this small only, okay, you get wet. Could you see the board? You get wet. Now I want to tell you one more thing. You see here there are 2 clauses here. In all if clauses, you find 2 clauses. One is dependent clause, the other one is independent clause. In all clauses, in all if clauses. Now in zero clause, zero conditional clauses, zero clause. Let us see if you stand in the rain. Now take out. There are 2 clauses. How do you identify 2 clauses? Clause means you need a subject and a verb. There is a subject, you, verb. One more clause, you, subject, verb, get. So there are 2 clauses in this sentence. The same sentence we got 2 clauses. What kind of clause this is? If clause, because there is a condition. You find condition in the if clause. That's why we call them as if clauses or conditional clauses. Now see here, if you stand in the rain, take out this part. Can it stand alone? Does it give you any meaning? Full meaning? Can it stand alone? Okay, if I stand in the rain, what? What you are going to give me? Something should be there. It's not giving you complete. But you see, you get wet is stand. It could stand alone itself. You get wet. Okay, you get wet is giving you meaning, full meaning. It can stand alone. but this is totally dependent on that one. So this is, you don't worry about, just you should be able to identify which one is dependent clause and which one is independent. That side is independent, you get wet. That's it, you get wet. That gives you complete meaning, okay? But this is not giving. If you stand in the rain, what next? Will you beat me? If you stand in the rain, I beat you. Beat you? Or you get wet? Or will you give me anything, prize or anything if I stand in the rain for some time? Anything challenge? Is it a challenge? Is it a warning? Is it a fact? What is this telling about? So this cannot stand alone. Okay? So this clause is dependent and this clause is independent. That you forget. Now, when should we use zero conditional clause as well? We used to tell the facts that never going to change wherever you go. Now, if you stand in the rain, you get wet. To express such kinds of conditional clauses, please use zero clause. What is the formula? You use in this simple present. Simple present you should use in the both the clauses, dependent clause and independent clause also, simple present. Are you following me now? Are you following me now? Simple present here and here. The subject, after the subject, the verb should be V1. V1 or V5. V1 or V5. Simple present means if in the place of you, if you get any girl, then also if she stands in the rain, she gets wet. If he stands in the rain, he gets wet. If I stand in the rain, I get wet. To say such facts, true facts, you should use zero conditional clause. It's general fact, this is. So, you should use simple present, either V1 or V5. According to the subject, you should change. Okay, V1 or V5. Both are present form only, present tense. Okay, so simple present, subject plus V1, subject plus V1 or V5. Subject plus V1 or V5 is the formula. Subject plus V1 or V5 is the formula. Here also subject plus V1 or V5 is the formula for zero conditional clause. Could you say now one more sentence, general true fact to express zero conditional clause? I mean, you use zero conditional clause to express the fact. Can you? Yeah, you can. Science students they use. If you heat the ice, it melts. If you heat, H-E-A-T, heat, not eating, I'm not saying eating. If you heat the ice, it melts. It's a general fact. If you heat, subject plus V1, it melts. It melts. V5, that is also simple present. Okay, V1 or V5. So you should use according to the subject, and don't forget that whenever you express zero conditional clause, don't forget to use simple present too. Again, here also simple present. In both the clauses, you should use simple present tense. I hope you have followed the clause meaning, the examples of clauses, and the two kinds of clauses, dependent clause and independent clause. And also I think you understood what are if clauses, and the first one is zero conditional clause. That's all for this video. I hope you are going to follow, or you are going to become perfect in this as you go on doing more and more exercise.